50 bombs every single night. JxmyHighroller exposed the NBA scoring explosion, and I'm losing my mind right now. Skip here. The plane is in on the line. The bucket's out of control. And today we're finding out if any of these stats actually matter when the playoff starts. Let's get into the video and see for real.
Remember a few months ago when I made a video about how NBA players are scoring less points this season and rule changes have made high-scoring games harder to come by than ever before? Well, things have changed.
Ooh, a fresh pie? Save me a slice. That's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's... All right, that's good. Okay. All right, okay, all right. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's enough slices!
Over the last couple of weeks, players are dropping more 50 bombs than Kobe in 07. Collectively, the entire league spent the first 3 months of the season going through the worst scoring drought in over a decade. But now, seemingly out of nowhere, we are getting massive scoring nights and career highs literally every single night.
Bro, this was back in 2021. Do you see what the players were doing? They had more points in the All-Star, more than Kobe had in 2007. Bro, it was intense. It was crazy. I mean, can you compare that to now? Because we got the playoffs about to start now, 3 days from now. What do you think they're going to be playing like? Because I know the playoffs bring out the real demon in the players. They bring out the real beast in the player. They get into beast mode. So we see the franchise record for Kyrie averaging 60 points in a game. This was before the 2021 playoffs started.
Is this huge bump in scoring due to some sort of competitive race? One guy has a big night and others join in to see if they can top it? Are players putting up bigger numbers because the league has decided to relax on the strict rule changes they made at the beginning of the season? Or is something much bigger going on here? This NBA season got off to a pretty rocky start in terms of offense. Team scoring was down, player scoring was down, and efficiency was down. Among the top players in the league, there virtually wasn't a single player who was outperforming expectations, or even meeting expectations for that matter. We saw the first 50-point game of the season on November 8th, just 19 days after the start of the season. We wouldn't see the second 50-point game until December 12th, 2.5 months into the season and just 2 50-point games to show for it. Things began to heat up a bit in January with 4 50-point games in a single month. And closing out the end of February, the league added 2 more 50-point bombs, bringing the season total up to just 8. But on that last day of February, Ja Morant dropped a career-high 52 points against the Spurs.
Damn! Ja Morant dropped a career-high 52 points against the Spurs. Bro, was Wemby in that team as at that time? Because if Wemby was in that time as at when Ja Morant dropped 52 points against the Spurs, bro, it wouldn't have been possible. Now, trust me, it wouldn't have been possible because how you dropped 52 points? This was before the playoffs started back in 2021. I mean, Ja would have been so full of himself, but bro, it was intense. I mean, what were the other players doing? Single player dropping 52 points. Bro, if I was in that game, I would have given him the worst injury of his life. No, I don't mean that though.
And then all hell broke loose. 5 days later, LeBron drops 56 points, the third highest single game total of his entire career. The next day, Jason Tatum scores 54. 2 days later, Kyrie Irving scores 50 points. 3 days later, LeBron scores 50. 2 days after that, Durant drops 53 points in just his 5th game back off of an injury.
Hold up. Bro, this looks like a competition. Bro, Ja Morant dropped his, this LeBron drops 50 plus. Everyone is dropping, including KD. They dropped 50 plus points, bro. How is this possible? Bro, it looks like the Ja Morant open way. He cleared pathway for 50 plus points because I need to know, why are players taking the playoffs more serious than actual beginning of the NBA season? But see what they're doing just before the playoffs. Imagine what they could do in the playoffs, bro. I mean, I'm so fired up for this one coming in.
Today, Karl-Anthony Towns drops a career-high 60 points. And then the very next day, Kyrie Irving pops off for a career-high 60 points as well. The man is a part-time NBA player. And right when you thought this blistering scoring run was over, Saddiq freaking Bey drops a career-high 51 points against the Magic. What's going on? Usually, NBA fans are lucky if we get to watch a couple 50-point games in a single month. We just saw 9 50-plus point games in 18 days. In fact, the 8 50-point games in the month of March are the most in a single month in 60 years. Guys, we are only 18 days into the month. And if that isn't crazy enough, here's a stat that'll really hurt your head. Out of the last 20 NBA seasons, only 9 of them had more than 8 50-point performances for the entire season, which means in just 18 days, the NBA has produced more 50-point games than 11 of the last 20 seasons.
Yo. 18 games. The NBA produced how many points, bro? This was crazy. 850 points in 18 days. How? Yo. But they laughed. They should have done a drug test on these players, because how all of a sudden they dropping 50 points per game? KD dropped today, LeBron dropped tomorrow, Kyrie next to bro. It was crazy. Damn.
Just a few months ago, we were watching superstars struggle to even get 30. And now we got Kyrie Irving scoring 41 points in the first half, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench for 45, and an old man going for 56. So, what changed? Well, I think the explanation behind all these massive offensive games is very simple. Steph drops 47 on his birthday. Karl-Anthony Towns puts up a career-high 60 on the anniversary of a very significant day in his life. Kyrie and Durant each having monster games after their game against Philly and James Harden. I think I see what's going on here. The NBA's best players are playing one big game of anything you can do, I can do better. Fueled by their innately competitive nature, these players are finding absolutely any reason to tee off on 30 shots and throw the playbook out the window as they barrel their way into the paint for another and one.
Bam. You see, it's all about competition. So whatever point you make today, or whatever basket you drop today, you make today, oh, I gotta do better, and I can do better. It's not even about I gotta do better, I can do better. So this level of competition, we don't really have that level of competition in this NBA season. Trust me, you can't find that currently. This was back in 2021. This is like 5 years back, bro. Or 6 years back. Bro, look at the players being competitive. Lord, I have to do better. Is it about the title? Oh, yeah, we got to win. You don't win, you go home, bro. You go home.
Ja Morant's 52-point game was the first of this 3-week-long scoring barrage. But I think it really started with LeBron's 56. After watching LeBron go berserk, stars around the league took the opportunity to one-up him, or at least put on their best show. The Celtics have been on fire, so Tatum decides to take the liberty of giving himself a huge night by putting up a career-high 15 three-point attempts.
What?
Now, no one goes out and just attempts 15 threes, and those 54 points were no mistake. Jason Tatum went out of his way to have a career night. In the midst of talks regarding health and politics, Kyrie drops off a 50-point game. As a reminder that despite his part-time status, he too is one of the league's most elite players.
Wait. Is Kyrie Irving a part-time NBA player? I don't understand. Can someone explain to me in the comments? I've been hearing this from JxmyHighroller for the past 2 minutes. Kyrie being a part-time NBA player. Is he playing, or is not playing, or is he injury or something?
And as the weeks go along, more and more stars join in on the scoring frenzy. Trae Young goes for 47, but is overshadowed by a 53-point performance by KD. And so he comes back with 46 points the very next night, but is outdone once again by Stephen Curry's 47-point birthday special and Cat's 60 points explosion. All on the same exact day. And as if things couldn't get any more out of hand, Kyrie follows up the performance of the season by matching Towns' 60 with a 60 bomb of his own. One thing I've been absolutely sure of for years is that the best scorers in the NBA could average 40 a game if they wanted to. And if the past couple weeks isn't proof of that, I'm not sure what is. Because when you can score at the level of Steph and Durant and Kyrie, the difference between 30 and 50 is simply shooting more shots, which might possibly be the most obvious statement of the year. But many fans disagree with this idea. Oftentimes their rebuttal being, if they could average 40 a night, then why don't they? To which I can assume that person has never really played basketball before. Because despite being the best offensive options on their teams, these ultra-elite offensive talents can't just put up 30 shots a game. That would be a locker room disaster.
Locker room disaster. Yo, the game is all about doing better than this person and that person, because Corey dropped 47 points on his birthday. We have Kyrie. Okay, Jason Tatum dropping 15 threes. Bro, how? You know the funniest aspects in the beginning of the NBA season, they're not going to be doing this. The playing, they're going to be doing all this. In the playoffs, it's all about intense game, bro. So I see why the 65 game rule is there. They have to preserve whatever energy they have. Coaches have to sit out players. They have to sit out the best players for the best moment, which is the playoffs. And it's starting soon. It's going to get heated. The competition, the real competition is coming in. So I see why all this is happening. I mean, we have the recent season, 2025-2026 season. We are looking forward to intense battle in these playoffs. We're going to see the playoff Luka, the playoff Morant, the playoff Curry. Bro, this playoff is going to be lead.
Teammates would feel uninvolved, the offense would become stagnant, and it just isn't winning basketball. Michael Jordan ran into this problem a lot prior to the 1990 NBA season. Mike was scoring 40 points literally every other game for 3 years. He even had a stretch where he scored 40+ points in 12 of 14 games. The dude could get a bucket at will. But it took him years to realize this style of play was never going to win him a championship. And as he found the exact role his team needed him to play, he began to win more and more as he scored the ball less and less. Trust me, if Kevin Durant wanted to average 40 a game, he could and would. If Giannis wanted to, he could. In fact, I'd argue that there are about a dozen players in the NBA right now that could go out and give you 40 a night if that was their sole mission. KD, Giannis, Steph, Kyrie, Harden, Embiid, Luka, LeBron, Ja, Trey, Jokic, Tatum. All of them could give you insane scoring numbers every night. But like every great player knows, that will never get them to their ultimate goal. Take Kevin Durant, for example. Top 5 bucket getter in NBA history, but doesn't have crazy scoring averages. This season, when Durant scores 30 points or more, his numbers look like this. Now, when he scores between 20 and 30 points this season, his shooting numbers look like this. The only real difference is how many shots he's putting up. Now, riddle me this. If Durant's efficiency is nearly the exact same from 20 points to 30 points, do you think his efficiency would change from 30 points to 40?
Yeah, of course, it's going to change from 30 to 40 because we got the playoffs coming in. So what do you expect? Jimmy, what do you expect? Bro, that could be possible. Imagine having these points in this stat in 18 games and 21 games. He scored 30 plus points every 18 games, every game during the 18 games he played, and 20 to 30 points, 21 games, bro. That's what he was making for every game he played during this time. Bro, he gotta do it, bro. This is this recent. He's going to do it.
Time's up. The answer is no. Durant,
Bro, not tell me no, it's yes.
among other offensive stars, could absolutely give you crazy numbers every night if that was their only objective. And over the last 3 weeks, we've seen what happens when stars make scoring their only objective. But I think possibly the most glaring example of this came back in 1994. Going into the last game of the season, a 21-year-old Shaquille O'Neal and prime David Robinson were neck and neck in the race for the scoring title. Both players having an average of exactly 29.3 points per game. In his last game of the season with the scoring title on the line, Shaq scored 32 points, keeping his scoring average virtually the same as it was before. But apparently David Robinson wanted the scoring title just a bit more than Shaq did, since Robinson exploded for a career-high 71 points in the final game of the season, bringing his scoring average from 29.3 to 29.8 and securing the scoring title for the season. Now, both Shaq and David played their last games of the season on the same night, but David's game was earlier in the day, which means he had to put up as many points as possible in hopes that Shaq wouldn't top him later that day.
Davidson, what were you thinking? You think Shaq wouldn't top your gameplay? Oh, I know both of you had the most intense competition out there. with Shaq breaking backboards. Bro, you can hope that, yeah, they play their last games of the day in the same day, of their life in the same day, bro. Just though Robinson time was earlier. But bro, you couldn't have thought that Shaq wouldn't beat you all-time high. Shaq wouldn't beat your points for the last games, bro.
So going into the game, David and the Spurs had one goal and one goal only. Give David the ball and get him as many points as humanly possible. Those 71 points were not a fluke. This historic night was no accident. David wanted to score a lot of points, and so he did just that. And there was nothing anyone could do about it. In an interview after the game, Robinson said, "It was unbelievable. As a leader, I just try to win games, but tonight my team really wanted me to shoot it. When the game started, they were looking for me almost every time down the court." Shaq also commented on Robinson's big night, saying, "They ran every play for him. If I hadn't been triple teamed and was selfish and tried to score every time I touched the ball, I could have scored 72. Like I said, big."
Oh, so Shaq didn't top it. Bro, I'm out here thinking Shaq could have topped it or double the points, bro. And I forgot Shaq wasn't that good at 3 points, shooting 3-pointers.
Scoring nights are no fluke for great offensive players. If they want to go out and give you 50, they will go out and give you 50. Which brings us back to this unbelievable 3-week stretch of NBA basketball. Game after game of huge scoring nights and career highs. You know, it's too bad these players really want to win. Otherwise, we'd see this stuff far more often. There's nothing like tuning into a game and watching history unfold in real time. Watching the crowd erupt shot after shot, knowing the man with the hot hand is coming down the court with only a bucket on his mind and nothing the defense can do to stop him. When a great player decides he wants to go off, he's gonna go off. And when a dozen great players decide they want to go off, you get 50-point games every other night. So I guess these games aren't really unbelievable. In fact, they're all part of the plan. Hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, so now we've come to the end of this video, but I think you know the NBA is broken right now. Secondly, I need to know your take. Who's going to win the NBA championships? What team do you think is going to make the most out of this championship, the playoff coming in? Because I know it's going to be hard and it's going to be mind-blowing because this is 2025-2026 season. We all know we got hot rookies. In as much as we got hot rookies, we got intense players too. So who's ready for this 2025-2026 playoff? Let me know what your take or your predictions is in the comment section. I'll be reading them out. Thank you so much.